Welcome to Gapology Radio with your hosts Mark Tinas and Brian Brokoff, authors of the leadership development books Gapology, IMBAR, and Speed of Purpose. At Gapology, our purpose is to help leaders achieve their greatest potential. To learn more about our groundbreaking books and training services, visit our website, gapology.org.
Hey everybody, welcome to Gapology Radio. We've been receiving some great feedback, comments, and questions from our last podcast, where we began our series discussing IMBAR mapping. For those of you just joining us, IMBAR is our second book and is essentially an acronym for Identity, Mindset, Behavior, Action, and Results, all of which, when aligned properly, can deliver the outcome that you seek. And if you feel like you're struggling with some of your goals, an IMBAR mapping session might be the answer. You can find IMBAR through our website, gapology.org, or through amazon.com. And tonight we're continuing our discussion by looking at the downstream impact on team members from executives and senior leadership, specifically the impact that they have on the IMBAR of others. So let's go ahead and get the show rolling with Mark Tinas. Hey Mark, how you doing?
Good, Brian. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for tonight. We've got a great topic lined up for everyone tonight. It really came to me. I had some conversations this week with some leadership, and we were talking a lot about momentum and, what creates momentum, what creates stagnancy, what creates negative momentum. And what we really found is that it always comes back to the leader and their impact on the team. And so I was thinking about this IMBAR series, and I think the impact of the leaders, specifically the executive team, the senior leaders in an organization, that they can have tremendous impact on the team and the team's IMBARs themselves. And I would love to talk about some of that with you, Mark. Get your thoughts on executive impact, specifically with IMBAR. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great topic, and I think it's somewhat unknown, I guess would be the term, and or underutilized. So, Shall I jump in?
Yeah.
So each of us has an IMBAR. It's a map of our identity, mindset, behavior that creates the actions in our team and creates the results. And so we've been teaching. Brian and I have been teaching IMBAR for over a decade now, and it's pretty incredible. The great thing about it is we control it as leaders. As executives, you control your IMBAR. You can design your IMBAR. And the IMBAR that you have is alive and well, and it's clearly represented in your team. So your identity, who you are, your mindset, how you think, and your behavior, the things that you do, create the actions and results of your team. So if you ever want to know what your IMBAR looks like, it's right there in your team, right in front of you every day.
Yeah.
So if things are awesome, it's probably because you are. And if they're not, if things aren't awesome, the great news is you can change it because it's your IMBAR reflected to them. What do you think about that?
Yeah. In Gapology, we talk about the mirror a lot, looking in the mirror, we own the gaps, specifically knowledge and importance. And then when we get to the action gap, we own the root solutions there. So we need to look into the mirror. But I hadn't thought about this with IMBAR, that IMBAR is really a reflection of the leader's own IMBAR.
Yeah. So the leader needs to know this. The leader needs to look for that IMBAR, listen for it as well. It's right there. So you can hear it in language, the language of your team, what they say, what they talk about. You can see it in their behavior, observe them. It's right there. And then it's right there in the results. So if you have an expectation, result-wise, how are we doing against that? Your IMBAR's woven all through it. And this is an incredible message because you control it. You can change it. You can design your own destiny. So if a leader is on purpose about that, if they recognize what we've just talked about, they can really control results to an incredible level and achieve amazing things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. I think the team, and you see it a lot when teams change leaders, where the team will be living in one IMBAR state for a long time, and then when the leader changes, all of a sudden they have to change. And I think there's a lot of times there's dramatic change that happens there because the IMBAR of the leader has changed.
Yeah, we saw that in the gapology research and results. And so we categorize leaders as A, top performers, B, the middle group, and C, bottom performers. And oftentimes, quite often, when the C leader would go away, they were terminated or they resigned, and an A leader took over. Do you remember what happened to the team, Brian?
Oh yeah, they become A.
They became A.
Yeah. Yeah, the
So
same people.
The team
Yeah.
was an A.
Right.
The team was always an A, but they reflected the leader's IMBAR.
Right.
Think about that. That's amazing.
Yeah. When we first did that, I was really looking at it through the lens of primarily the B. So the leader's behaviors were really reflected back in the team. But in reality, looking at it through the IMBAR lens, it's really the leader's identity and mindset as well that's being reflected back.
Yeah, the I creates the M creates the B, so it's all right there.
Yeah, it's all connected.
So one incredible method that I've seen to get rolling on this, I want to share with the group, and I've seen it work. Is we've done a number of IMBARs, which is a map of identity, mindset, behavior, the actions that creates and the results. We've done that with a number of executives. Some of those executives have then literally taken that as a billboard and taken it to their team and presented it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's who I am. Here's who I want to be. Here's who I'm transforming to be, whatever the message may be, and literally sharing it with the team so that they get it. And the greatest have said, hey, I want feedback on this every day. If I'm ever in a variance to my IMBAR, let me know. I want to get better because this IMBAR, my IMBAR, can really impact our results and our team. And one example, a leader did that and they became, I think they were regional. They became the regional manager of the year for the company for the first time ever, following sharing their IMBAR, which they had never developed before, sharing that map with the team. So they carried it in their car on a poster board. It was visual. It was great. I keep it on my phone. And they took it everywhere they went, toured, all of the different offices that they operated and shared it with all the teams. And it was incredibly powerful and it created the best performance in the company.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you mentioned two different things there that I want to just call out. So when you're doing this IMBAR mapping, so our team, we can definitely lead you through that. We can help you with that process because it really is almost a one-on-one coaching opportunity that's the most impactful. We do have our book IMBAR, and we do recommend going through and reading that because you can start to do some things on your own. It does work really well with a coach. And really what we do is we look at your current state IMBAR. So who you see yourself as right now, what your mindset is, what your behaviors are, what the actions you create are, and what the results are. And we analyze that. We figure out what that is right now. And then we develop a transform state IMBAR. So what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to deliver? And we build out a transform state IMBAR. And the combination of those two things, that process is so enlightening going through that. It's humbling at times, certainly, but it's also exciting, as you see your potential and your growth opportunities. And then taking that, I like what you shared there where the person was sharing his IMBAR with others and creating that kind of accountability. I always call it an accountability partner. If you can partner with somebody and share where you want to go, now you have somebody that can help hold you accountable to it, can challenge you, can ask questions, can celebrate with you, and so forth.
Yeah, and you're asking for their feedback, which empowers them.
Yeah.
On that current state, who you are now, I was working with an executive today on that. And the amazing thing, which happens over and over again, is people literally do not know who they are.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So as an executive, you need to connect with who you are. In the book, we provide a storyboard, and it is so simple, you won't believe it. And you come away saying, oh, I understand who I am. And that's really a first step to determining who you want to become. You got to know who you are to determine who you want to become.
Yeah.
So the storyboard is a very powerful tool. It's in the IMBAR book, and it leads the individual there. And that's what we worked on today. Mm-hmm. Was we stepped back and said, okay, let's do the storyboard. And that in and of itself is significant, and it's fascinating that we as humans really don't know. Maybe as executives, we just don't know who we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we haven't thought about it.
Right. And things change as you move up the ladder, I think. So, the identity that you have at one level is not the same identity that you need to have at the next level. Things change.
Well, the storyboard is so well designed. I think you designed it. It is so well designed because it brings back memories that we have forgotten.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that in a while. And we begin to connect with who we are. That's who we are. It's us. And it's very powerful. It often brings tears to the eyes when people remember back to an event or a success or a failure or a learning that they had. And the storyboard works. Mm-hmm. Works you through that. So once you know who you are, and again, we're saying it's already reflected right there in your team, you're well positioned to figure out who you want to become. Mm-hmm. And that's the transformed state that Brian was just talking about.
Yeah. So what do you think about the impact on the team itself?
Well, I think when you have to realize as the leader, they look to you for guidance, et cetera, and their behavior, their identity, mindset, and behavior reflect you. Mm-hmm. So I worked for leaders who helped their employees find an identity by calling out something that they saw in them that was exceptional. Mm. So they would say, oh my God, you were really, really gifted in this. And oftentimes that individual didn't know that or hadn't seen that or hadn't felt that and certainly hadn't heard it. And in that moment, it shifted their identity a bit. They started thinking about it, and potentially that's, something that they pursued. So either way, the leader has a tremendous impact on the identity of the team. I worked for an organization once where it was very volatile, and every Monday, everybody argued and screamed cuss words, and we all, dropped to our lowest level of leadership. And that was a reflection of that leader. And I didn't want to be part of it and left that. The leader's IMBAR flows through the team. It's just a fact.
Yeah, and I think that has such a dramatic impact on any sort of momentum you're trying to build around things that are important to you and your goals and your expectations, your objectives, the things that you're going after. If you don't understand your impact on the team, you may be leading them in a wrong direction. You may be actually negatively impacting that momentum. I think looking at, keeping your finger on the pulse of the identity and the mindset of the team, looking at their results and their behaviors and their actions to really be the evidence of their mindset and their identity. I think you can really dig into, those tangible things to discover what your impact is on their identity and mindset.
Yeah, there's a line that you and I used to use. I still use it occasionally, probably not often enough. And it is change the leader and you change everything.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
And if you think about it in this context, it means you leaders out there change who you are, change your leadership, develop your IMBAR map, design it, determine who you want to be, and you change everything.
Right.
You change everything.
Right.
So change the leader and you change everything is very true. We've seen it play out over and over again.
Right. That is a big thing for people to really remember. So when you're talking about changing the leader, it doesn't have to mean physically putting a new leader in place. It could be just changing the identity of that leader. So they're essentially a brand new leader, a much different leader. And if you're looking at your own team and you're not getting the results that you're seeking, maybe it's time to do this exercise, see who you are right now, see who you want to be, and put the steps in place to become there.
Yeah. Go find the mirror.
Yeah.
Go find the mirror. So there's another successful tactic that we've seen on this topic, and that is for the leader to conduct a team IMBAR exercise with the group.
Mm-hmm.
So the group actually defines a team IMBAR. What's our team's identity? Who are we going to be? What's our mindset? How are we going to think? What's our behavior? What are we going to do? What are the actions that'll be created from that in the team? And then what results will we produce? So we have seen a team IMBAR work over and over again. And it's incredible because you can tie it to the purpose of the organization, and you can really create something that creates an alignment that you can't get otherwise. So a team IMBAR we've seen become very powerful and lead organizations to results they couldn't even dream of.
Yeah, I love that, Mark. I think this exercise is really one that can really bring the team together. It's a great way to collaborate, to work together, to create that alignment that you're talking about. Getting everybody on the same page, but doing so where they're part of it. So it's not just their buy-in, but they actually own it. They're helping to create it.
Oh yeah, they're bought in. The best examples I've seen of that, by the way, is when it's completed, to create a billboard of it of some sort that goes on a big wall and have everybody sign it.
Yeah.
So they own it now. It's theirs. They were part of the the exercise. They gave input. They had a voice, and they created it, and now it's theirs. And you can then, in a meeting, refer right back to it. Say, Brian, how does that align with our identity? How does that align with our purpose that we talked about? And it causes the team to think.
Yeah.
And it creates an energy. It creates an engagement level, an alignment, as you mentioned. It creates an accountability that just wouldn't be there otherwise. And through all that, it creates results that nobody can touch.
Right.
You want to be the leader in the industry, have a team IMBAR. You want to be a leader in the organization, have a team IMBAR. And share it with everyone else as well.
Right. Yeah, man. I'm thinking, so picture joining a company that has one of these posted up on the wall, and everything that's done is built around it during your onboarding process. So you come in, you're interviewed to it, you're trained to it. It's just part of the overall culture. So what's expected, where you stand within the overall team, the organization. Just think about the clarity that can really produce.
Yeah. So to the point of this entire podcast, think of the clarity that a leader can create with their IMBAR.
Yeah.
It changes everything. It is who we are. We haven't really marketed IMBAR. Again, as we said, Gapology may be our license plates, but we couldn't figure out what to do with IMBAR because nobody knows what to do about it. So,
Right.
hey, IMBAR is a big deal. It can change lives, careers, futures, you name it. It's awesome.
Mark, I wrote down the next quote for our next T-shirt. It is who we are. When you said that, I'm like, oh man, that's good. I wrote that down. So
yeah,
I'll get that one on a T-shirt soon.
I love it.
Yeah,
I need more T-shirts.
All right. Well, I think this is good. I think we could leave it right here. If anyone out there has feedback, comments, feel free to shoot those over to us. We love to hear feedback. We heard some good stuff this past week from the last conversation that we had. So keep them coming. We'd love to hear it. So
and share with us your IMBAR and your IMBAR successes. And if any of you want to do a podcast about your IMBAR, we'd love to hear from you too. So
definitely, yeah, we love to have guests on the show. All right, well, thanks a lot, Mark.
Thanks, Brian. Great work.
Yeah, you too. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, that'll do it from here. For more information on IMBAR, check out our website, gapology.org or amazon.com. Everyone have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you soon.
This has been a Gapology Institute production. Visit us at gapology.org.